Welcome again to the Study Bible Study, where we study the Bible with study Bibles. And Revelation 17:14 tells us, "And these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall conquer them, for he is Lord of lords, he is King of kings, and they who are with him are called and chosen and faithful." And God bless and amen. Now John 14:27 tells us, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." And John 16:33, "These words I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." And let's hop back into our Daniel study on the Study Bible Study, where we study the Bible with study Bibles. Okay, we are on 7:7 of this commentary. Okay, 7:7 is, "After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. It had a huge iron teeth. It was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. It was different from all the other beasts that were before it. It had 10 horns. Now, 7:8. 7:7. Okay, we're on 7:7, the fourth beast. "Now no such animal exists. Rather, this is a unique beast pointing to the Roman Empire, already represented by iron in chapter 2. Now, devastating in conquest, Roman dominion fell apart in AD 476, yet it lived on in a divided status in Europe. But it will be revived, and it will return to great unified strength near Christ's second coming. Then it will be compromised of the 10 parts under kings, as well as the 11th king, the Antichrist." Now the Antichrist points us to second. Okay, hang on. Let's look at these verses. Okay, we got 8:24 here in Daniel. Let's see what 8:24 says. Okay, 8:24. "His power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. He shall destroy fearfully, and shall prosper and thrive. He shall destroy the mighty, and also the holy people. He shall cause deceit to prosper under his rule, and he shall exalt himself in his heart. He shall destroy many in their prosperity. He shall even rise against the prince of princes. He shall be broken without human means." Okay, and it points us to a note about the princes. Now, in addition to the desecration of the temple in Maccabeus, Antiochus blasphemes Christ, to whom ultimately the host of the Jewish people sacrifice, and to whom the sanctuary belongs. He is later the prince of princes. Okay, now the fourth beast, Daniel 7:7. "No such animal exists. Rather, this is a unique beast pointing to the Roman Empire, already represented by iron in chapter 2. Devastating in conquest, Roman dominion fell apart in AD 476, yet it lived on a divided status in Europe. But it will be revived, and it will return to a great unified strength near Christ's second coming. Then it will be comprised of 10 parts under kings, as well as an 11th king, the Antichrist." It points us to 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians 2:3-10. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that worshipped, so that he is, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now remember ye not that, when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in this time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. Then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. That is 2 Thessalonians 3:2. I read to 11, but 3 to 10. In Revelations 13, might as well read some of this stuff and get familiar with it, right? Revelations 13, 1 to 10. Okay, 13, 1 to 10. And I stood up, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his 10 crowns, and upon his heads came the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. His mouth was as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him power, and his seat, and his great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they that worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And then there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. A power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. There's a few segue verses mixed in there in our study. And 7:8, another horn. Now I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots. And there in this horn were eyes, like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. Now another horn, this describes the rise of the Antichrist. The beast is human, eyes like man, and a mouth speaking as is proud. And this points us to Revelations 13, 5 to 6, which we already read, but I guess we can look at it again. 13, 5, and 6. Okay, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and a power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. So, what's basically happening in this commentary from my point of view is they're paralleling Daniel and Revelations, which most of these commentaries seem to do. So now let's continue on. Okay, Daniel 9 and 10. The vision of the Ancient of Days, as I watched till thrones were put in place, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was as white as snow, and his hair, and the hair of his head was pure wool. His throne was a fiery flame, its wheels a burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands and thousands ministered to him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. And the court was seated, and the books were opened. Yeah, it's an interesting illustration. Because I remember the first couple times I read this illustration of the Ancient of Days, it reminded me of the Shekinah glory that they followed in the wilderness around it was on Mount Sinai when Moses went to get the 10 Commandments. It's kind of like describing a cloudy figure with a figure in a cloud figure figured as a man. I always kind of pictured those scenes, and that's kind of what they were seeing, but this is much more detailed. Now, I watched Daniel 7, 9 to 10. I watched. Daniel's vision flashes forward to the divine throne from which judgment will come on the fourth kingdom. They fast forward us to Revelations 20. Let's see if we can get this in here fast. Revelations 20. Revelations 20, 11 to 15. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to his works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. It's Revelations 20, 11 to 15. And John 14, 27. My peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. John 16:33. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. God bless and amen from the Study Bible Study, where we study the Bible with study Bibles. And Revelation 17:14 tells us, and these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall conquer them. For he is Lord of lords, he is King of kings, and they who are with him are called and chosen and faithful.